We are
Boom, we're live.
live, everyone. Now, Falcone here is going to talk about, the true origins of Thanksgiving or Genocide Day, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And,
Or
sorry.
oh, never mind. You keep finishing.
And my guest from last time told a really good story and really tragic and on Lebanon, and he only scratched the surface. And unfortunately, Falcone never got a chance to actually tell her full story. So, for those of you who were there for that long, if you're hearing the same information again, well, if you're going to talk about the origins of Thanksgiving, you're going to have to talk about it from the very beginning, like freaking 1492. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
That's where all this shit started. Now, I'm gonna let Falcone speak for her own people's history because I don't have these experiences myself, and it would be a disservice if I try to speak for them. Anyway, Falcone, I'll let you speak.
All right. So I'm gonna kind of start off with the origin of Thanksgiving because, as we're told in school, is some like BS like, hey guys, the Pilgrims and the Indians they all came together on holiday and basically sang Kumbaya and had a happy Thanksgiving or some bullshit like that. Do you guys remember being taught that in school or no? Comment down below if you remember you were taught that shit in school.
I was
Because,
taught that in school. No joke.
yeah, they literally made us dress up as Indians. They would literally, my fucking white teachers, they're white as fuck, dressing up as Native Americans, and we would also have to dress up as little Indians, and then we made our own teepee out of fucking rulers, which is the worst shit I've ever seen ever. And that was when I was fucking grade. That's how young I was during that time. But I'm gonna get into the origins of Thanksgiving, which the actual documentation historically is from Governor William Bradford of the Plymouth Bay Colony or settlement. So it happened like before King Philip's War, but we're going to start off around the beginning of Plymouth. So basically, the settlers came along because, oh my god, they were being, like, a third of them were being persecuted, so they wanted to live in Holland, but their kids were becoming Dutch, so they didn't like that, so they went and sailed all the way to the Atlantic to try to go join Jamestown to build their religious theocracy or something like that, or whatever their fucking bullshit was. But later on, they went into Plymouth. They first went onto the peninsula part of Massachusetts, you know, like that little hook thing of Massachusetts Bay. They went on the peninsula of that. And basically they could find nothing on there, so but a bunch of Native Americans who were on that peninsula and basically who kicked them out of there. And so they went into Wampanoag territory and met Tisquantum at, or his real name, as us Westerners are told, or as y'all Westerners or all you settlers are told, that basically his name is Squanto, but basically, he was taught English and all that shit, and so he became a communicator as well. Basically, they came in the freezing cold winter, not knowing how to survive, so they stayed in an abandoned Indian Native American village that was wiped out due to sickness. So they slept there, and then later on that spring, not knowing how to do anything, they kind of basically made an alliance with Samoset. But later on, that alliance started to deteriorate over time. And then when Samoset's son came to power, the peace broke. where basically they start firing shots in celebration over an anniversary where they were having some feast. And basically 91 Wampanoag men came to that place because literally they were ready for war, because the context of it is illegal British settlers started coming in there, started kidnapping Wampanoag men and women and children, massacring them. There was even over over hundreds of Pequot men who were also murdered in their sleep. So yeah, where they would start kidnapping other local tribes as well and their people and stealing their shit. So then they took, so basically they went to war and basically got into a huge fucking fight, which started King Philip's War. Where later on, it started basic where it started with 30% of the settlers' population being wiped out and 50% of the Wampanoag population also wiped out during that time. So that is what actually happened on the first Thanksgiving. Not some fucking bullshit like Kumbaya. Oh my god, the Indians and Pilgrims came together. Like, no, motherfucker. I even told this in my own school about what actually happened, and literally they're like, "Oh, but your people were invited." No, we were never invited. We were never invited. They basically just started war with us entirely. So yeah. Um. So there's that. I can go further into all the way to 1492 if any of you guys want. Y'all can type in the chat if y'all want it.
Well,
Or
anyone that denies that America doesn't celebrate genocide, then what the fuck do you call Thanksgiving? If after hearing this,
yep. We read about Squanto in my 6th grade class, according to Stan. I don't know when I learned about him, honestly. Please do. Okay, so 1492, that sex trafficking pedophile Christopher Columbus came in because his drunk ass was so fucking lost that he landed on fucking Boricua, or was it the Dominican, or where currently the Dominican Republic is. So basically he landed on there, started the colonization, started basically meeting the Taino people, but it was not some peaceful fucking encounter like we're told. So he saw them and basically examined them for their golden shit that they had and started digging up their shit for anything. So he kidnapped a bunch of Taino men, took souvenirs like their gold, stole it from the men he enslaved. Uh he also stole hammocks as well that we currently use today, which, if you did not know, that is an indigenous invention, not some Latino or Hispanic or some bullshit like that, we're told. Oh my god. Oh god. So basically the start of that shit happened with later on they would even use some of the tribes and make alliances with some of the other Taino tribes to go to war with each other because they saw it as an opportunity. But later on, Christopher Columbus became governor after Spanish troops were able to basically kind of like able to colonize the whole island he was on. So he became governor of the new territories, and basically what would happen under his regime as governor, they would do things like steal babies from mothers' arms. And here's a warning. Here's a warning before I tell you the details, the gruesome details. If you are not into listening to the gruesome details, I will ask you kindly to not watch the stream because, oh, I'm going to give you some fucking trauma at this point. So, where they would steal babies from their mother's arms, Taino babies, and feed them to dogs as entertainment, where the dogs would be ripping them limb from limb and they would be excited after a baby is mauled and ripped apart by a damn fucking dog and get off on that shit and see it as inter-fucking-tainment. They would celebrate that shit every single day. Also, Queen Isabella and the King of Spain as well also gave them literally would give them permission to enslave any Native American who did cannibalism. So Christopher Columbus literally enslaved almost the whole population and accused them of all being cannibals. So you know how we're all called cannibals? That's because Christopher Columbus lying fucking ass calling us cannibals. Here's also more. There is even a letter. I will try to fucking find it. I think there was a letter about this. Uh, I'll look it up. Christopher Columbus, crew member. Letter. Okay, if you guys can still hear me. So here's the letter. I'll link it here so Darks can and basically show it to you all, and I can read it from here. I'll just give it to Darks in the private chat. Here you go. So we can basically, so I can read you the letter. Darks, are you there?
Oh yes, I'm there. I'm already. I'm getting the letter.
Alright, great.
I just gotta screenshot it or whatever you screen share.
Yeah, screen share.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
All right. All right. Are you ready to read it?
Oh fuck, my internet connection. Uh-oh.
You still there? Oh fuck, my internet connection's fucking with me. Falcone, you still there? Oh great. Looks like the CIA doesn't want us to expose the truth. Fuck. Oh shit. Falcone should be back in a bit. It must be her internet. Fuck. Fucking internet. It's all right. She'll be back. Fuck. right. All right.
All
All
right,
right.
let's share
That
again
sucked. What
because my
happened?
thing was, oh, my internet was fucking with me. But right,
Considering your internet connection may not be the best, wouldn't it be better just to read the article, on your end, so it doesn't fuck with your connection?
oh, my internet like fucked with me for that moment because I didn't connect to my Wi-Fi and I tried using mobile data. So
Oh,
I'll just recommend trying it again.
okay. Well, I still have the tab up.
All right,
Just
great.
just a recommendation to make sure it doesn't happen again. All right.
Ah, I
I'll.
can.
Can you see it?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay.
Basically, scroll down. Where is it? Okay. Let's see. Does it say number one on the top of the Vox article or no?
I gotta look that up. I do not. This may not be the right site.
Oh, I used a Vox article that I linked. Let
What
me
about
link.
what about this one?
Here it was. It's on the private chat.
All right. It's all right. Wait, is this the right on? The first one I clicked to, was that the right source? I'm just making sure. All right. Because I'm not sure. All right,
Let's
is this
see.
the right one? Because this is the first one that comes up.
Okay, I'll just go by that. Or I'll try reading it on my end.
It'd probably be better if you did it on your end because I can't find it.
Alright. Alright. Christopher Columbus, Larry the crew member, Native American woman. So it was on a Vox 2014 article. So basically, number one, Columbus kidnapping a Taino woman and gave her to a crew member to rape. So, and Burry quotes Michel de Cuno participated in Columbus' second expedition to the Americas or Turtle Island. While I was in the boat, I captured a very beautiful woman whom Lord Admiral Columbus gave to me. When I take her to my cabinet, she was naked, and as was their custom, I was filled with desire to take my.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Oh, there it is.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. So unwilling, so she treated me to her nails that I wish I had never begun. Then I took a piece of rope and whipped her soundly, and she forth such incredible screams that you would not have believed your ears. Eventually we came to such terms, I assure you, that you would have thought she had been brought up in a school for whores. In a school for whores. Onto a member of Columbus's crew explicitly cut off the Indian ears to shock others into submission. Go down to that one. So, after an attack by more than 2,000 Taínos, Columbus had underlined Alcione Ojeda, bringing him to the Indian leaders who Columbus ordered publicly beheaded. Ojeda had ordered his men to grab another Indian and bring him to the middle of the villages, cut his ears off in retribution for the Indians failing to be helpful to the Spaniards when forcing them. Columbus kidnapped and enslaved more than thousands of people there, according to Kino. Columbus ordered 1,500 men and women seized, letting 400 go and condemning 500 were sent to Spain, and the other 600 were enslaved by Spanish men remaining on the island. About 200 of the 500 sent to Spain died on the voyage or were thrown by the Spanish into the Atlantic. Columbus forced Indians to collect gold for him or else they die. Columbus ordered every Indian over 14 to give large quantities of gold to the Spanish on of death. Those regions without much gold were allowed to give cotton instead. Participants in the system were given a stamp or copper or brand tokens to wear around their necks in what became a symbol of intolerable shame. 50,000 Indians committed mass suicide rather than comply with the Spanish. The Indians, their stores of bread were so that neither nor the invaders would be able to eat it. They plunge off of cliffs, they poison themselves with roots, and starve themselves to death. Oppressed by the impossible requirements to deliver tributes of gold, the Indians were no longer able to tend to their fields for the care of their sick children or elderly. They gave up and committed mass suicide to avoid being killed or captured by Christians and avoid sharing their land with them and their fields, groves, and beaches and forests and women of the future of their people. 56 years after Columbus's first voyage, only 500 out of the 3,000 Taino remain on Hispaniola. 500 years ago, on the necessary, imprecise but bargreen estimate of 300,000 inhabitants of the island in 1492, between 1494 to 1496, 100,000 of them died due to half-mass suicide in 1508. The population went down to 6,000. By 1548, it was only estimated to be 500. Understandably, some natives fled to the mountains to avoid Spanish troops, only to have dogs set upon them by Columbus's men. Columbus was horrible to the Spanish under his rule. While comparing his crimes to the Caribbean Taino Indians, Columbus ruled over Spanish settlers was also brutal. He ordered dozens of Spaniards to be whipped in public, tied their necks and bound their feet for trading gold for food to avoid starvation. He ordered women's tongues cut out for having spoken ill of the admiral and his brothers. Another woman was stripped and placed on the back of a donkey and whipped as punishment for falsely claiming to be pregnant. He ordered Spaniards to be hanged for stealing bread. And there's like a bunch of more violent shit from there. Ugh. Settlers under Columbus sold 9 to 10-year-old girls for sexual slavery. Indian slaves were beheaded when their Spanish captors couldn't bother to untie them. So yeah, that's the violent shit that we're taught about how Christopher Columbus was such a great man, guys, and how he discovered America. You see that there's still parades in New York City. Even Bill fucking de Blasio fucking celebrates some parade. Like, literally, I was hearing this from Barney in the Crackheads family. So it's some crazy TikTok show or some like Instagram reporter who was literally interviewing this congressman who was like justifying Columbus's crimes, trying to justify them, saying, "Oh well, we were in warfare with each other and shit like that before Columbus came." And he's like, "Oh my god, he was like helping us Italians or some shit like that." Columbus was also an idiot who also thought he landed in India, which is why he called natives Indians or some shit like that. So yeah, that's Columbus for you guys. But
That
guys,
wasn't
he discovered America.
that wasn't war. That was massacres on the
I
scale
know.
that we haven't that the world haven't seen up until that point.
Yeah, 50,000 of us basically committed mass suicide, so we wouldn't have to deal with that fucker. I felt like that 50,000 should have gotten their fucking weapons and fucking fought back. We should have done that instead of literally letting these fucking settlers get on our land. Also, you know this other crazy shit? You know how these like infrared fans are saying like, "Oh my god, look at these Chad conquistadors." Let me pull it up. Okay, so I'll read it. Uh uh orange. I couldn't find the tweet, but he was where they were saying this like how supposedly we worshipped like fucking like how the Machika supposedly fucking worship these white people or these conquistadors like gods because we put fucking incense around them because they smelled like utter shit. So it was like so funny to me how they say that shit. Like, here's the thing, it's because we were a fucking clean people who are so fucking clean and who actually clean everything and make sure we have like a cleanly space instead of these like fucking settlers who come into our fucking land and start literally fucking up the whole place entirely. So, you know what also happened is basically we put incense around them because they smelt like other shit. It's like, for example, like I could say like we were like this when they came, like, I'm not gagging. I'm gagging from the smell, but bitch, do you bathe? That's what we were thinking when they fucking came to our fucking city of Tenochtitlan. Like, these motherfuckers didn't even know how to bathe. They didn't even fucking do anything to clean themselves or to even like not smell like utter shit. So literally they put incense to make the room smell good instead of having to smell shit because these white people can't even wash themselves. So literally, they misinterpret that because they're such fucking dumbasses. Uh, by basically believing we were worshiping them as gods because
oh my god, we see white people as gods. No, no, that's not even true at all. So it's like the dumbest shit ever. And like for real, then I hear some like demonizations of what the Aztecs did, of what the Aztec Empire did or some bullshit like, oh, how we treated women like shit and how we were massacring people every single day to our gods because we were religious zealots. And that's not even true of what actually happened on our land. Also, somebody also said this. I heard somewhere that Native Americans massacred and genocides were carried out by European hegemonic powers because they thought the natives were descendants of Jews. What the fuck?
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, Europe has been anti-Semitic for fucking thousands of years. That wouldn't shock me in the slightest.
Yeah, me too. Also, like, for example, is that literally you also have like these people even justifying us being genocided. Like, for example, I'm gonna pull up Canada because oh god, I hate Canada so much. But Canada did this like fucking shit where their opposition leader, Aaron O'Toole, the leader of the Conservative Party, said some shit like, "Oh guys, that basically we had these residential schools to help them assimilate to society." And holy fucking shit. Everyone started literally calling Aaron O'Toole out on Twitter for that shit. Then the next thing is basically you had the Bishop of Winnipeg. I hope he gets pushed off to a cliff, in my opinion. But saying that, oh, Native Americans are trying to do a persecution against us Catholics. Oh my god, we're so oppressed. And so basically we responded by doing this, burning down 7 churches. That is the most base thing I've ever seen, and I will dance on those ashes to the day I fucking die. But we burned those churches down. We also ripped down the statues of the first Prime Minister of Canada, ripped down the statues of Queen Victoria as well. Uh, put like red paint on them as well. Next, next we're supposedly supposed to have this, according to Justin fucking Trudeau, some truth and reconciliation bullshit. Guys, we're gonna try to do truth and reconciliation. So much for truth and reconciliation because hey, can you do screen share again? Because I'm gonna show like people on what's been happening on Canada, like 2 videos. One from my channel that goes and explains what's happening, and another one from Democracy Now! Of what the Canadian police are doing. And the indigenous genocide is still continuing till this day. So, yeah.
But the infrared, that doesn't matter. It's not happening. It's
Yeah,
or the English would have done it anyway. It's like,
yeah,
and what of it? What of it?
yeah, I know. So, can you open up the share screen as well? So I could show them like what's been happening in
Sure, just give
Canada.
me the link. Just give me the link.
Uh, Alright. I'm just gonna give you first link. I'll give you the second link in a bit. Okay. It's on private chat.
Let's talk about what is happening in Canada. An oil company known as Coastal GasLink had plans to drill in the Wet'suwet'en Nation to build an oil pipeline. This pipeline would go right through their sacred headwaters known as Wet'suwet'en. The Wet'suwet'en never gave them consent to drill on their unceded and never surrendered lands. In January of 2020, the hereditary chiefs of all 5 clans gave Coastal GasLink an eviction notice to leave the territory. On November 14th, the eviction was enforced and the coastal workers were given 10 hours notice to leave. They didn't leave. And so in response to the infringement of their rights and laws, the blockade was set up. This prompted coastal
Oh shit. It's buffering. Fuck. Oh shit. Um, I think a glitch happened. Well, I took over this stream now, guys. It's my stream, everyone. I have initiated a coup. Dun dun dun. But I'll just explain it. So, Coastal Gas is basically trying to drill on this land where literally they are trying to take over, basically do it on Wet'suwet'en land, which they have not consented to. Oh yay, Darks is back. Oh no, my coup is over. Uh-oh.
Yeah, guys, Falcone, she's controlling me and Jason. I mean, you guys, the plot has been exposed.
Uh-oh, guys. Oh no.
Anyway, my internet fucked with me. So, oh god, you're gonna have to send the connection again.
Oh, I'll just explain it to them from here. So basically, they're drilling on Wet'suwet'en land, and we gave them an eviction notice for for their workers to leave, a 10-hour eviction notice, giving them 10 hours to leave. So basically, they refused to do so, and so they set up a blockade. Now the RCMP is literally sending their military grade and armed police forces to block the blockade, where they have arrested 5 elders, arrested multiple activists. One of them was on Democracy Now! On Friday, last Friday, talking about it, and then later on, they basically drilled down through her door with a chainsaw and cut that door down and arrested her and arrested a bunch of journalists as well there. And basically, they've also been doing brutality to also other indigenous people as well. And basically, there has been no casualties yet on to basic that have happened yet on to indigenous people. But guys, our genocide is over, guys. I thought our genocide was over. I thought that we're all living together in kumbaya, everyone. Like, no, look at this shit.
Canada is a fascist state. Changed my mind.
Death to Canada, death to America, death to settlerism, settler colonialism. Fuck Canada. The only thing good about Canada is Jason Unruh and that there's Native Americans willing to fight back. That's the only thing good about it, and that and also fuck B level, fuck the surfs, fuck us, thought slime, fuck any of the fuck the Communist Party of Canada. Like, fuck them off. Fuck Justin Trudeau as well. I hope Justin Trudeau gets a bullet in the head. Fuck him. Fuck him.
Fucking fuck. I can't take him seriously.
Like, for real. Fuck that Canadian republicanism bullshit. Abolish the monarchy. Death to the monarchy. I do not listen to any Canadians but Native Americans and Jason Unruh. Because Canada has a fucking queen, so yeah, fuck off. So there.
Canada is the bitch of America, France, and England.
Canada can't stop sucking the dick of the United States. That's Canada. Canada, the biggest dick licker of the United States I have ever seen. Come, give us more money, Daddy United States. Please do so. Please do so, Daddy Joe Biden. Like, no, fuck off.
There are some good things that come out of Canada, but Canada as a whole is fucking.
It's Jason and Indigenous people. The only good things they're done.
Jason and Maxwell Glover and a few others are the only exception. Everyone else are just wannabe Americans.
Oh, did you know Alberta wants to join the United States? So bad. Western separatism. Oh, and also, if I ever have to hear anything about Quebec independence, for real, I'm going to tell you, fuck those Frenchies. I can care less about stupid Frenchies mad that they can't even speak, that they can't have their genocidal French dominance over Quebec, which is not even theirs. They can fuck off Cree Nation land and Indigenous land because it will never be theirs. Y'all can cope and sieve, literally. Canada, literally fucking Ottawa gives you everything on your fucking, gives Quebec almost anything on a fucking silver platter because, oh my god, Quebec thinks so highly of themselves. Oh my fucking god. Quebec has their head, literally has Canada literally trying to kiss its ass all the time because, oh my god, we're gonna leave. Bitch, then fucking leave. Fucking leave then. Then fucking leave. Quebecers are not oppressed, like for real. They're Quebecers and Anglophones are just the fucking same. The only difference between them is just a fucking language difference, and that they're Catholics, and that they make more babies than the rest of the fucking English speakers. So yeah, that's all. That's the only difference. So I don't get anything about some bullshit Quebec independence because some Frenchies do not want to be stuck in a majority English speaking country. Oh wow. Cry me a fucking river. It's for real. Stupid fucking Frenchies.
Maybe you should tone down just a little regarding the French.
Sorry. I get so tired and fed up with people trying to like tell me about Quebec independence. Like, hello, what about the indigenous people living here? We exist. Oh wait, but we're extinct according to these people. Yeah.
It's the same nonsense we hear almost every year about Texans want to secede from the Union. Fucking do it then, please.
Do it. I thought 40% of you guys supported your own independence. Then do it.
Fucking do it.
Do it. Do it, Texas. Do it. Oh yeah, you
Oh,
remember Palpatine saying "do it" or something like that?
it's the same shit. Yeah, it's like stops. You want us to secede? Fucking do it. Quebec and fucking Texas. Just fucking do it. Secede from your
Yeah,
countries and see
I
what
would
happens.
love to see that. I would love to see that happen. Oh wait, it's never gonna happen.
Of course it won't. It's as likely as California seceding from the Union.
Yeah. Oh, Cal exit, and then you got Texas, and then people want Cascadia for some freaking reason. I don't recognize the United States as a legitimate nation. The United States is the Israel of Turtle Island, so yeah.
Critical support to the CPUSA in their war against Caleb Maupin.
Yeah. I hope they all kill. I hope they all just like destroy each other. I hope they do so on legal fees where they will be all out of money. So yeah, I hope they do so. Do it. Do it.
Yeah. Oh, but
But
wait. It's like, why can't you just enjoy your Thanksgiving turkey? Why do you have to be so political regarding Thanksgiving? Because it's literally celebrating genocide. I mean, come on, this is not too hard to figure out when you
also,
investigate
they
the.
never. Did you know they never actually served turkey in the supposed first Thanksgiving? They served eel. You had to eat eel instead of fucking turkey, like dumbasses. If you
Yeah,
want Thanksgiving so badly, then eat like actual eels then. Or eat the turkey guts instead. So yeah, see Thanksgiving. Or Genocide Day.
yeah. So, do you got any other thoughts, Falcon, that you want to
Oh,
say?
I got a lot. I got some a lot more as well. Okay. So there was also with since you brought up Texas, I'll bring up a bit about Texas and what they fucking did. Or I could talk about the Seminole Wars. I'll just leave it up to the chat to vote. Number 1 for Texas and number 2 for the Seminole Wars. Pick one. I'll wait. Still waiting. Oh god, this is great. Okay, I'll just pick okay. Okay, 2 for Seminole Wars. Okay, Seminole Wars. Basically, the Seminoles were actually just descendants of indigenous people, basically the indigenous tribes like that were in the deep south, which is now claimed as New Africa as well, so there's going to be that issue after decolonization that we could solve, but continuing on with the Seminole Wars. So basically, they were the people who kind of like refused to like try to do like the whole slavery thing. So they went into Florida along with black people, the freed slaves that fled to Florida, and built a whole settlement there and built their own towns over there. The Seminoles were known for being the only tribe to never surrender. The Seminoles basically built like a nation in the whole Florida peninsula. And so basically the United States wanted to take over Florida to make it as fresh arable land for the incoming settlers who wanted to settle and basically grow their cotton factories, grow their cotton farms there. So basically, this is what happened. The United States basically tried to get them to go all the way to Oklahoma, but they refused to do so. And so they got into the first war, which ended up not being a United States victory. It ended up being a stalemate. The second one, they fucking failed completely, where we were raiding their supply lines. We took over forts from left to right. We were basically winning it and basically pushed it to a stalemate. Then later on, basically one of the generals started using our own tactics against us. We were able to kind of survive, and then we went to the third war, where basically there was barely any Seminoles left, and some of them still did not want to move.
And so they tried to force us out one last time, but they had a hard time trying to do so because we stayed in the deep swamps where they could not even get us. So yeah. Crazily enough, where there were only 100 or 200 Seminoles that still lived there after the whole Seminole War, where they couldn't really fight back. Where even their leader was also captured by the United States generals for supposedly discussions of peace, where basically the Seminole War basically was black. It was a black and native alliance against the United States government, which even we fought Andrew Jackson as well. And also this also kind of caused as well is that we basically cost the United States government heavy casualties and $20 million in US dollars. So yeah, that's kind of the crazy thing about the Seminole Wars. As well as there's also other things as well with Texas. I recommend you watch that live stream by Revolutionary Left Radio, where I think they had this PhD guy who knows a lot about about US history, where basically he compared Texas to a mini United States. Texas is a mini United States, really. So Texas basically seceded from Mexico because those white settlers wanted to keep slavery, even though it was completely outlawed. So basically, Mexico basically didn't like that, and so did the indigenous people. They did not like that either. So they basically became independent for maybe less than a decade or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they got into a whole war with Mexico, and they were basically afraid of being invaded. They basically started killing off Spanish speakers, started killing off the indigenous Comanches on that land, where the Comanches would start sending in our massive raiding parties, and we would just crush their fucking settlements. We would just fucking destroy them. Everyone feared them. Oh wait, let me see this comment. I remember being taught about the Seminole tribes by teachers, and they were somehow bad because they were violent to the settlers. It's crazy how colonists carried out systemic child abuse, where basically we would basically just kill these settlers left and right, and basically send in massive raids. So basically, the United States, so they wanted to join the United States and were able to do so, but they had to give up the rest of their land to become a slave state because it went against the Missouri Compromise line, where Missouri was the only so basically it could not go below this Missouri line or something like that. So basically they had to give up some of their territory for that, so they could even become a slave state entirely, which is the crazy fucking part about it, which gave Oklahoma its famous panhandle. So the indigenous people instead basically were even forced to try to leave. They tried to force the Comanches to leave, where they try to force them into the Oklahoma Territory, which currently the Comanches are left in the Oklahoma Territory instead of the native lands of Comancheria, as they would call it. So basically, then there was the United States Comanche Wars, where basically the United States were able to destroy the Comanches once for good, but with heavy losses and casualties. Which is also the other crazy thing, where basically
the Texan settlers wanted the Comanches out of there because it would disrupt their settlements and basically just kill all the colonists entirely. I remember my marketing teacher was also talking about how like the Comanches were pretty violent people because of like their massive raids and how they go on a killing spree of settlers. Like if they needed to do what they do, it's justified really if it has to do with the defense of their land against the United States and these Texan settlers. That's my opinion. No one has to agree with me on that, but that's just my opinion. Which is also the crazy part. And then the last tribes that kind of rebelled were the Nez Perces, the Lakota Sioux that were in the Great Plains, and also the Apaches, who were kind of the last tribes that were really rebelling, which, as I repeated before, later on, basically, they found out their population was rising, so they started doing the whole cultural genocide program, where they would start taking our babies, putting us in residential schools, where they would try to beat us into submission and try to assimilate us into bullshit. And basically, they will basically beat you if you spoke your own language, sang your own songs. If you did not follow anything they said, they would beat you. They would force you to do the craziest shit. They will cut your hair off. They would call you by numbers, not your name. They would call you savages or evil. Where literally there was even child abuse also going on there, sexual abuse, murdering of children left and right. Where now you have these mass grave sites where so the number is 7,000 and over 400 children were found in mass graves. So yeah, there you go. You got that many people dead and found in mass graves in Canada alone. So holy shit. They did not stop there. They failed a lot at trying to do it, but we can't help them. We can't stop being who we were entirely. We're not going to help you try to stop us from being who we were. Which, here's other things. The genocide was still kind of successful because now it's displaced a bunch of indigenous people. But currently, we're growing back in numbers and basically trying to rebuild our culture from scratch. And trying to basically reconnect entirely. So, at least you got that. But some of us are so assimilated that we believe that we're supposedly now this like Hispanic or Latino BS all of a sudden. And that just because we speak Espanol is that, oh, we're Latino or Latina or anything like that crap. And basically promoting indigenous erasure. And later on, basically becoming doing the whole paper genocide thing instead of basically putting us in the population of who we were basically kind of erased and put into this whole bullshit like Latino or Hispanic, or next basically put us as other. And holy shit, we got a fascist in the comment sections. Is it possible to be a fascist for the right reasons? Or is that a communist? But
Do not engage fascists if they show up, Falcone. I'll deal with them.
Ban them. But continuing on. Basically, they would basically just like erase us like we didn't exist, where you have like white people to this day like saying like, oh my god, you're Native American? I never actually met a real Native American. My great grandmother was a Cherokee princess or some BS like that. Oh my god, are you Aztec? Are you Mayan? Oh my god, what type of what type of Indian are you? Or like I've been asked that, or even like asked this like weird thing, like even some people would mistaken me for being something else. Like some people would mistake me for being black as well, or basically like say some crazy shit like about like natives, like, oh, do you guys do human sacrifices or something like that? Uh, or basically do these like weird tribal things and then just like try to mock our culture or some shit like that. It's like, holy shit. Basically, even the schools basically have this Eurocentric mindset as well and teach this Eurocentric mindset. They don't teach you in the 1960s and 70s that there was also mass sterilization of indigenous women to help with the genocide. Literally, people never even knew this. And if you tell them that shit, they would deny it, or their jaws will drop. Their jaws will drop, deconstructing these Eurocentric mindsets entirely. That is fucking crazy. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a water. Because, ugh.
Well, this is a lot to learn, and well, I'm looking forward to hearing more because, well, there's still a lot I don't know about the Native American genocide, and I feel like I've only scratched the surface. I mean, despite what certain so-called communists want to say, genocide doesn't mean just physically killing a group of people. It's also culture. If you deny a people their culture, that's also genocide. If you force them to assimilate into the oppressed or culture, that's genocide. And if you're gonna go around and tell me that the genocide with the Native Americans, or whatever you want to call them, indigenous, I'll just call them indigenous, that it has ended, you're out of your fucking mind. Genocides, come in many forms. It isn't just physical violence where you massacre indigenous people by the thousands, millions. That's not how it works. It's systematic. It's a long process. There's been most of the tribes that existed on this continent have been wiped out. Very few of them remain. And just because there isn't as many indigenous in the that you can see doesn't mean they don't exist. And denying their existence, or basically doing what Caleb Maupin does, only acknowledging the assimilated indigenous, does nothing but support the genocide of the indigenous people. You're no friend of them, and I'm speaking as someone of Irish descent. You're not a friend of the indigenous if you don't support their struggles. And I'll just let Falcone continue if she's. Yeah, did you get your water?
Yep, and drank the whole bottle.
Okay, I'll let you continue.
But, next there's even new erasure tactics we also have to fight against. Because I see the whole Aslan movement as an erasure attempt because they're claiming the Southeast, which is indigenous territory, as a part of New Aslan or some bullshit, making up some fake shit that was not even territorially claimed by the Aztec Empire or even claimed by the Mexica. It just erases that the Navajo or the Apaches or the countless indigenous tribes live there entirely. And basically you have these same types of Caleb Maupin supporters, like even fucking Dust James. Like Dust James supports this whole Noose Aslan thing, and it's like, what the fuck? You're just supporting erasure at this point. Like they openly support erasure, which is like, bro, what the fuck? And it's like, then these same people who believe like they're like Hispanic or Latino is a real thing, which is just erasure. Really, it's just some fucking erasure for indigenous people.
Or just simply say that the lighter skin indigenous are white.
Yeah.
Just to what Caleb Maupin and his ilk basically making an entire series of memes of Maoists because based on you, which I think that's disgusting, and I find it, if you ask me, creepy that they
Wait.
dog on a underage person.
Oh wait, they've been posting like weird shit about me on Twitter. I didn't know this shit till now. Holy
The
fuck!
memes about you're not a follower of Mao, you're 14. Yeah, that's been based on you, and that's like I find that really sick because
Oh
it's a
shit!
form of fetishization. It's like, wait, this is pedophilia, this obsession. It's disgusting
Yeah,
and it's sick.
they were like, "Oh my god, save yourself," and I'm like, "Huh?" Like all this like sick statistical shit or pedophilic shit was the reason why I was put into a hiatus. That's why I put myself into a hiatus. Kind of that whole Juche memes video was kind of the last straw, really. And so I put myself into a hiatus for kind of like a month or two, which the hiatus was actually good because I was able to relieve my stress, but holy shit. And then like you have like Caleb Maupin basically respond to me and say some shit like, "Oh my god, you must be more woker than me." Because I'm calling you for what you are, which is a fascist supporter of settler colonialism that supports the genocide of my people. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking right because you are. You literally support my people's assimilation entirely. But continuing on as well is like these people want to push this type of erasure and basically are open about it. They love pushing indigenous erasure. They want us gone. That's plain and simple. They want us gone.
I mean, look what America is doing to Puerto Ricans and Hawaii.
Yeah. Like they ban like for example, I'll bring it up because it also counts as indigenous genocide. Because for example, they did this if you don't know about Hawaiian colonialism, but Vosh only cares about knowing about the sexual aspects about it. As if anything sexual, if there was anything sexual about it, uh but as basically what me and Dark Sonovia played for like remember you played that video on the 4th of July stream where it was like, "We are not Americans. We are not Americans. Say it in your heart. Say it when you sleep. We are not Americans. We will never be Americans. We will die as Hawaiians. America is the biggest imperialist nation in the world. It is a deaf country. It brings death to everyone it meets. They were never democratic with indigenous Native Indians. They are never democratic with Hawaiian people. They are never democratic. That is a lie." And then it's like, "Kue, Kue, fight, 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 fight." And
That's
that
a
would
powerful. That's a powerful speech. It's unfortunate that she's not with us anymore.
she died a day before we did that stream. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
At least we were able to pay tribute as best we could, even though she's no longer with us. but her relatives are still around who still push for Hawaiian independence. Which the other thing as well is they basically kidnapped their queen. They literally imprisoned their queen entirely, banned their culture. And then you have like stupid white ladies, like I'll just put this camera up, where they would mock their culture. I'm just gonna put my camera up for now. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And do some white girl shit where they'll go like making fun of their culture and go like, see guys, I'm a hula dancer. Like, oh my god, let me go disrespect this culture because just because I saw Lilo and Stitch, now I'm a hula dancer because I can do this because like I never even went to hula classes. Oh my god, guys, you're gatekeeping your culture or something like that. It's like yeah, they do some crazy crap like this now, where literally when they try to tell them they're gatekeeping their culture, like they forget that the United States banned them from even practicing their culture entirely. Like Hawaii was an independent nation, and they basically supported some white landowner coup that imprisoned their queen and annexed Hawaii entirely into the United States forcefully. So can I also say this as another thing is that yeah, Obama is not an American. He was never he is not an American citizen. He's actually a Hawaiian citizen because here's the thing. Basically he's just on an occupied and independent nation. So yeah, Obama is not an American citizen. So yeah, that's a fact. See
Even if
guys?
even if that was true, who cares? Obama's a fascist.
Yeah. But not gonna lie, it's kind of true as a joke, because he was actually born in Hawaii, which is actually an independent nation. But it's crazy today that it supposedly says like only 6 people support Hawaiian independence, which is also the crazy thing as well. Then in Puerto Rico, I will also bring up this. They also would keep the FBI, if you did not know this, they would keep things like GARPAs, I think it was called. GARPAs, which were basically if you attended an Independence Party meeting or basically a rally for independence or were a member of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party or an independence supporting party or advocated for it, they would make GARPAs, which were basically files on you. The FBI would monitor you guys 24/7 if you were a supporter of Puerto Rican independence. They had literal files made for you about about your support for independence. They did even a they did a massacre in Ponce in front of the Nationalist Party headquarters when they were doing a peaceful protest. In Ponce, basically my step great grandfather was born there. I think he was alive during the time when the Ponce massacre happened, which is also the crazy thing. Basically, they just did like a massacre, killing 10 people. They also arrested our leaders left and right. They tried arresting the leader and the founder of the Puerto Rican independence movement because he supported the killing of a United States appointed police chief of Puerto Rico and calling the people who did it heroes. And when they kidnapped Puerto Rican Nationalist Party members, they would kill them in the police station entirely. So right then and there, yeah, it's even crazy. And then you have these assimilated like white people who are a part of the statehood party. Basically like, oh, the United States owes us statehood. No, the hell they don't. The United States owes you independence, reparations. The United States literally owes you that, not statehood. Why do you want more assimilation? Hell no.
assimilate. Literally, the statehood supporters are literally just wanting assimilation. They want assimilation. They're basically just Democrats, because the reason why the Democrats only support it is because, one, they just want more power. That's all. And the Republicans don't want it because they're fucking racist as well. So yeah. And basically, we want independence entirely. And then I hear this anti-independence argument, like, oh, you want an independent Puerto Rico with this type of government. Like, no, dumbass, because the way they would want independence is voting in a whole fucking National Assembly and governorship from the Independence Party or the Citizens Victory Movement, and then boom, they're independent. They get their reparations, and the United States has to pay all that debt, and they're able to basically thrive independent. Literally, they say this Puerto Rico would collapse if it were independent today. Puerto Rico's under the United States and it collapses right now. Thinking you're progressive by supporting like Puerto Rican statehood is just not progressive at all. You're just justifying colonialism and supporting colonialism.
I think that's
So
nonsense, considering Cuba and North Korea have been managed to survive as long as they have, in spite of suffering some of the worst sanctions in human history. And they're
yeah,
doing better, arguably, than the people in Puerto Rico.
look at Puerto Rico. We're in like billions, over $300 billion in debt. Literally, schools are being closed down, even though teachers and also kids are protesting against it. Literally, power outages happening almost every day. And so basically, Puerto Rico made its own protest culture, where Puerto Rico has a general strike every single day. But basically, Puerto Rico still to this day votes in the statehood party or the Commonwealth Party. Anyone who supports any of those two options is a stupid idiot, or wants assimilation, or they just have been assimilated entirely to have this belief, which is stupid. And it's mostly the white Puerto Ricans. It's mostly the white people who do this.
As much problems there is with Cuba, honestly, they've been managed to survive for so long despite economic sanctions, and
Yeah.
not to mention have some of the best doctors in the world. They don't have help from the U.S. They did for the most part. They've done most of this stuff on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rico, what have those people got? They're part of America, yet they're doing worse than a country that's not too far from where Miami is, and they're worse fucking off than their neighbors. So what the fuck?
Yep.
Independence would do nothing but benefit Puerto Ricans. It wouldn't hurt them; it would benefit them.
Yeah. Also, the Commonwealth system is the reason why they're so they are not even able to provide their own food right now, or make their own food. Because also here's the other thing as well, is that basically due to the industrialization, we became food dependent on the United States. That was because of the Commonwealth government and the Commonwealth system. The statehood party wants the same shit. They want full on assimilation. Like, no, we don't want assimilation. We want out of this assimilation bullshit. Next, it's never going to pass Congress ever. So, yeah, I don't want Puerto Rico to ever become a state. Puerto Ricans deserve independence because independence will benefit them greatly. Independence is a thing I will support day on and day end. Anyone who tells me or claims to be a communist and supports statehood can go fuck themselves or needs a reality check entirely. So, yeah, there's that. So fuck statehood and death to America, free Turtle Island, free Puerto Rico, free Hawaii, and free New Africa. So yeah, that's my opinion. And basically, we would benefit greatly because we wouldn't have to deal with that shit anymore.
I retitled the stream to indigenous resistance because I think that is more of the topic of discussion in this stream. Just letting you know.
Yep. There's also like current indigenous resistance that guys can go support. Check my latest video and go to the link down in the description to help pay to basically donate if you can to the indigenous water protectors over there. The United States is also doing this with Line 3, which Line 3 has finished construction where basically the Minnesotan state legislator is trying to pass a bill that allows the judicial killings of indigenous water protectors as well. And basically, those are kind of current indigenous resistance movements that is currently happening. And basically, here is also like a bit of other indigenous history that I also put out here with some of the resistance, where you would have the Apache Wars against the United States, where Geronimo would help lead raids against the United States left and right, and would also escape capture, where basically they were able to surround tribes from left to right. And the biggest battle ever, which I can narrate from basically the script of my video here if you guys want, about the Battle of the Greasy Grass, or what you guys are told about the Battle of Little Bighorn, if you guys want me to do it. So now you pull up the script.
I think you should. I'm just giving my thought.
Big. Okay. So the Battle of Bighorn, or the Battle of the Greasy Grass. So what was the Battle of Bighorn? Here's a quick description. On June 25th on 1876, combined forces of the Lakota, Cheyenne, Aparo tribes defeated the 7th Cavalry Regiment of the United States Army at the Battle of Little Bighorn. So how did it start? Ever since gold was found on Lakota, Sioux, and Cheyenne land, leaders of the Sioux in the Great Plains strongly resisted the mid-19th century efforts of the United States government.
Are you there, Falcone? I think the internet might have.
Oh, fuck me. This is crazy.
What happened?
My internet.
All right,
continue. I'll put the script in the private chat for me to read it from there. So let me try it. Wait.
She's still here.
Huh. 1, 2. Oh, wait. I'll post the second part here. All right. Here's a quick description. On June 21st of 1876, combined forces of the Lakota and Cheyenne and Arapara tribes defeated the 7th Cavalry Regiment of the United States of the Army at the Battle of Little Bighorn. So how did it start? Ever since gold was found on Lakota Sioux land and Cheyenne land, leaders of the Sioux in the Great Plains strongly resisted the mid-19th century efforts for the United States government to confine their people to Indian reservations. In 1875, after gold was discovered in the Black Hills, the United States Army ignored the previous agreement and invaded the Black Hills. This was seen as a betrayal to the Sioux and Cheyenne tribesmen, where they tried to force them to leave their land. So they left this led them to leave their reservations and join Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse in Montana. By the late spring of 1876, which I'll pull here. Oh, wait. Alright. By the late spring of 1876, more than 110,000 Native Americans had gathered in a camp alongside Little Bighorn River, which they called Greasy Grass, in defiance of the U.S. War Department ordered to return them to their reservations and risk of being attacked. That basically was the startup of the Battle of Little Bighorn, where the American government violated the previous treaty agreements and invaded. So, let me do something. So I'm also going to go into basically a bit of military logistics here. So let's look at the military logistics of both sides. First, the American Army had Native Scouts from the Ikura and Crow Scouts. Commanders Custer, Reno, Benteef, Killa, Calhoun. The units of the 7th Cavalry Regiment were 700 strong cavalrymen and scouts. Casualties at the losses of almost 300 men, which was to account for the real numbers. 268 men and 55 were wounded, 6 of whom later died of their wounds. Okay, now the Lakota and Cheyenne forces, commanders Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Chief Gal, Lame White Man, Two Moon units were irregular military strength of 1,500 to 2,500 warriors, casualties and losses up to 31 up to 135 killed, 116 wounded, 10 non-native combatants were killed. That was basically logistics from both sides of there. So there's that. Next, let's continue the battle. So, the start. into the battle. Before the battle, Sitting Bull did a sun dance, where 2 days later he had a vision of the Lakota winning the battle. The U.S. Army dispatched 3 columns with soldiers, including Custer's 7th Cavalry Regiment, rounding up the natives and returned them to their reservations. The soldiers were armed with Springfield single-shot carbine rifles and Colt 14 revolvers. General Alfred Terry and Colonel John Gibbons and Custer met in mid-June after the scouting party of Crow and Akira scouts. Scouts located Sitting Bull's camp. Instead of waiting for reinforcements as arranged, Custer planned a surprise attack for the next day, advancing towards the encampment and shooting a few natives on the way. Custer divided his more than 600 men into 4 groups, 1 small battalion to stay with the supply train, 2 to lead by Captain Frederick, and Benteen and Major Marcus Reno to attack from the south. And preventing natives from escaping, he sent Benteen scouting southwest to ensure that there were no other native forces to attack them from the rear, ordered Reno to head west and attack from the south side of the camp. Custer led the final group of 210 men strong, planned an attack from the north. Which, here's where more shit goes down. Now, let's get into it. Reno's group attacked first from the south. The natives, caught by surprise, picked up their arms and organized and started firing back. Reno had over 100 men who had been skirmishing with the natives. Some of the natives, He-Dog and Braveheart among them, rode out in circles in the hills behind the soldiers. At that moment, Crazy Horse came riding fast with reinforcements, boosting the natives' morale. So, continuing on. Reno soldiers are now engaging from 2 sides, quickly retreated after realizing they were completely outnumbered, with natives chasing them by uphill. By the time they regroup on the top of the hill, now known as Reno's Hill, at least 30 men were dead, while Custer moved north to Gallup in the spot. And spotted the Cheyenne Cat and saw mostly women and children. He then divided his forces, sending 2 companies west in the river in an attempt to remove the pressure from Reno. Custer and his remaining 3 companies continued heading north, looking for a suitable place to cross the river on the south side. Hearing gunfire, Benteen's troops came to Reno's aid, and then combined battalions joined forces. At that moment, Crazy Horse and his warriors turned back and started heading towards the center of the general camp. They feared a second attack on the camp
from some point north, then seen soldiers heading the opposite way of the bank. At the point group the Lakota Sioux that point a group of Lakota Sioux led by White Thunder started heading east. They soon joined many other natives, and then they started firing at the soldiers and the tall grass. Natives were coming up from the south side of the river in great numbers and attacked the two companies. The soldiers retreated into the high ground. Meanwhile, Crazy Horse continued heading north. In effect, White Thunder said Custer had been surrounded even before they began to fight. Custer ordered his men to stay in a defensive position while he was looking for suitable terrain to cross the river. The natives attacked the first line of soldiers were overwhelming and the formation broke. The natives continued to attack. The second defensive line now came under intense pressure. Custer returned to the high ground and sent his soldiers to intercept the natives who were now advancing from other directions after the same fierce fighting of the second line. Alright, continuing on. Let me get the other one. Suffered heavy losses, then retreated to the reserve line. Other side, a Crazy Horse successfully encircled the soldiers as warriors started to attack the soldiers from one side. Crazy Horse smashed into the soldiers, which left them completely surrounded. Many of them were killed, while others started retreating towards Custer's position with natives chasing them. The Custer's men panicked and dismounted from their horses and used them as cover. Now surrounded from all sides, Custer's last stand wasn't much of a fight. It was a base slaughter. The natives once more, and Custer was killed, which was based along with every man in his battalion. Even more based, he suffered two bullet wounds, one near his heart and the other in his head. Mega based, I say. Some of Reno's officers who had ridden out their men towards the shooting watched in the hill in the distance, swarming with natives who had seemed to be shooting at the same thing on the grounds. These natives weren't fighting, they were just finishing off the wounded, also by taking things from the soldiers. Contrary to Sitting Bull's warning, officers were at the wear point also saw the general movement of natives more than any of them have ever encountered before heading the way. Reno and Benteen formed the defensive circle.
And here's where I'm getting into the end. In a line of exchange, fire soon began. They fought all day until General Terry reinforcements had now arrived. It was natives who were outnumbered, so they packed up their camp and retreated, bringing the largest defeat to the U.S. Army ever had in the Plains Wars to an end. During the end of the battle, the American Army lost 280 soldiers, while the natives lost 160. This was a great victory for indigenous people against the fascist state of America. We should celebrate. Okay, let me see. We should celebrate. We should celebrate this as communists and as colonized and indigenous people of this country. Rest in power, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Chief Gout, Lame White Man, Two Moon, Viva la Guerrera Popular, Land Back, Death to America, Free Turtle Island, and Long Live Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. So yeah, that's all from the Battle of Bighorn. But holy shit, it was crazy. Oh wait, I got a notification. Oh, Jason released a new video saying you're wrong, Trav. Oh, I want to hear this.
I get.
Delayed.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. Anyway, this is a lot of information that you've been teaching us today. What more do you have to teach? Do you have to reveal, Falcone?
That's almost all I have for right now.
Do you have any final words?
Yeah, I do. Long live Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, free Turtle Island, free New Africa, free Hawaii, free Puerto Rico. Support the people's wars being waged against fascist states around the world by Maoist parties. And Viva la Guerrera Popular, and long live the five heads of Marxism and the four swords of Maoism, Cecin, Gonzalo, Chamaru, and Ibrahim Kapakaya. So yeah, those are my last words, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Long live the People's War.
Bye, guys. And death to